I will now be doing page 353, number 8C. Page 353, number 8C. This one is referring to exercise 6, and it says, consider the events A as working out at least once. Oopsie, I don't know what I just did there. Okay, at least once a week. Okay, I'll just try to do shorthand. It says event B is equal to works out less than 5 times per week. Okay, forgive my handwriting. Now, the next question is saying, part C says, what outcomes make up the event A and B? So that means, it says, what is the probability of A and B? So I'm going to write those two sentences together. So the probability of A and B, so what makes up A and B would be that they work out at least once per week and less than 5. You could also, I'm going to go to the next page now. You could also use the notation if X is equal to number of times that we work out your random variable, right? You could say the probability that 1 for at least once per week is less than or equal to X, which is less than 5. And I put not equal to because the 5, it doesn't say less than or equal to, it says less than 5 times per week. How we want to go about that is just adding up the probability of X is equal to 1 plus the probability that X is equal to 2 plus the probability that X is equal to 4. Again, why did I not include 5? Well, it says works out at least once per week and less than 5. So when X is equal to 1, that's at least 1 and less than 5. X is equal to 2, that's at least 1, less than 5. When X is equal to 3, that's at least 1 and less than 5. And the same as with X is equal to 4. Now you go to your table for number 6 and you add up all of those and you get 0.25 as your final answer. Now, furthermore, it says, why is this probability not equal to the probability of A times B? So now I'm going to figure out the probability of A times the probability of B. So now you're finding two separate probabilities, not the probability. Okay. So, excuse me. The probability of A works out at least once per week. I'm going to do that as 1 minus the probability of working out 0 times a week. That's just easier than adding straight across. When you do that, you get 1 minus 0.68, which is equal to 0.32, if I did my math right. Times, now I'm going to do this separate part right here, right? The probability of B, and remember that B is working out less than 5 times per week. So here I'm going to add up the probability that X is equal to 0 all the way up to ... the probability that X is equal to 4. Okay, so again, ... in there. So the probability that X is equal to 0 plus the probability that X is equal to 1 plus the probability that X is equal to 2 plus the probability that X is equal to 3 and plus the probability that X is equal to 4. And we get there, when you add that up, 0.93. So now we have our two events that we're multiplying together. And when you get that, it's equal to 0.2976. Now finally the question says, why are they not equal? Well, remember that rule I showed you on the last day of the last chapter. With independent events, the probability of A times the probability of B has to equal the probability of both if and only if they're independent events. So what conclusion can we draw? We can draw the conclusion that they are not independent events for this problem, because the probability of A times probability of B does not equal the probability of both. And again, I'm using my finger. I am so sorry. That's question number 8C.